It's been dubbed miracle water by the company that makes it, the ultimate antioxidant that can actually reverse some health ailments. But does water really have the power to heal? KANGEN water is being poured to a long line of devotees. But tonight, CBS 2's Christina McClarty puts it to the test.
Sounds like snake oil, right? How can water change your life?
How much water do you drink a day? Probably not enough. Better yet, what's in the water you're drinking?
I tell people they have the option. You could be taking prescription pills or get hydrated and alkaline, and you probably won't need them.
At KANGEN Water World in Burbank, owner Harvey Brandman says he can't promise his water will cure you of any diseases, but he believes in the power of his water. Its roots in Japan, KANGEN means return to origin.
I've lost my allergy to cats, lost acid reflux is gone.
You're supposed to drink half an ounce of water per pound of body weight. So if you're 120 pounds, you need 60 ounces of H2O. Purged of free radicals, KANGEN water has a pH balance of 8.5 to 11.0. City tap water is alkaline at 7.2, which is neutral.
When it's going into the machine, it's going into a filter, very high-grade filter, which lasts for 1,500 gallons. And then it's going to go through a unit in the back that has titanium and platinum plates, 230 watts of electricity, which causes the water to split into two waters.
This machine produces KANGEN. One water is acidic, the other alkaline. To demonstrate just how powerful it is, Brandman conducted several experiments. First, how acidic are drinks we consume on a regular basis? From sports and energy drinks to Perrier and bottled water.
This is called an ORP meter. It actually measures if it's oxidizing or antioxidizing. So if I put this probe into the water, well, this is the soda, you can see that it's going to be around 400.
Sports drinks clock in at 300, bottled water around 200, and KANGEN water?
See the minus sign? Now this is minus 400.
Then pH drops were added. The color green is neutral. Sports drinks were way acidic. KANGEN water the color purple, meaning it's alkaline. And next, a batch of cherry tomatoes washed in tap water, then in KANGEN water. Look at the color of the KANGEN water and the taste.
Flavor is more robust.
Lastly, oil and water don't mix, right? Tap water with sesame oil separated. Sesame oil with KANGEN water, though, emulsified. Client Charlotte McKenna has been drinking KANGEN water for 9 months.
Well, I thought it was weird, at first, and then I saw this demonstration. It was, amazing to me. I had a lot of pain in my hands and my fingers. I have arthritis. That went away within a week.
McKenna is also a breast cancer survivor.
I will have a much better chance never to get cancer again as long as my body is alkaline.
So is KANGEN water perhaps the fountain of youth? Try it for yourself. The first 30 days are free.
They say, what have you been doing?
And both McKenna and Brandman say you have to taste it to believe it. In Burbank, I'm Christina McClarty.
We're here with Sebastian here. He's a water expert here, hydration specialist, and he's going to be doing my blood work today on before drinking KANGEN water and after my blood.
Yeah. No, it's a little poke, man, just like a diabetic's use, but there's a lot of things that you can see in a person by looking at their blood cells. Blood cells are associated with different things. So we're about to see how. Put it under the microscope.
Oh, it looks dirty already.
So this is at 10% soon. But you can still see how the blood is still clumping up, and what you want to see is each individual cell moving around, bouncing off each other. Because just think about this going through your heart, going through your liver, going through your veins, going through every organ in your body. Your organs have to work so much harder to clean this out. And you just want to have each individual cell just freely. You're going to see some cells that have spikes or dots in it, and that is called bird cells, and that's associated with liver disease. Keep your blood as clean as possible so you don't overwork your organs.
Wow.
Are you going to drink 2 glasses of KANGEN water or a glass?
2 glasses.
2 glasses of KANGEN water, and we're going to do a test after 10 minutes.
I ate a lot of avocados and nuts though. 2 glasses of KANGEN water. We waited, a couple minutes after, so now we're gonna check my blood and see how free flowing it is on the screen. Same finger. You gotta poke it again, right?
Yeah.
Don't cry, Steve.
Just give it a touch. Give it that. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Damn. Whoa!
As you can see, the cells has already separated from the last time. See how you can see the cells more individually?
More separated.
Yeah, as you can see, the bloods are like more separated. You can see more individually.
After drinking only 2
cups of Kangen water. So you just imagine if you drink this water every single day, all day long. Just imagine how free your blood cells are gonna be, and your liver is not gonna work as hard. You're just gonna be much healthier overall. And this is why it's so crucial to drink Kangen water, because you're not gonna get this same benefits of drinking tap or bottled water. Because think about it, where are you guys getting the water from? Either tap or bottle, and neither of those are good for you. So that's why a Kangen machine is just the best alternative out there for you guys.
We have further, extension on machines and financings and payments as low as $50 per month. Help is priceless, and there's no price tag towards health. So if you have a machine that hooks onto your faucet every single day like this, and you have a machine that you pay one time, and you have this for the rest of your life, serving 30 to 40 years, like how good would that be? You just get it one time and you don't have to use your hard-earned money on shit that poisons you, your family, your kids, and everybody. I'm just being real with you. $50 per month could serve you 40 years of your health and for your life, because you're made up of 80% water. Like there's no price tag towards that. So.
Me feel again. The sea is cold, my only friend. I don't want to be alone on the shelf, on the skin and bones. We've lost ourselves, holding on to all we felt. You pushed me out to survive. I fell in love just in time.
Long Island Police Department for 23 years. I'm actually a police detective out there, and as all of you know, police officers are very skeptical people, and it's kind of funny because when I first got a call about this particular machine, I just didn't believe it. Being skeptical like we are, I didn't believe that a water filter would do what my sponsor was telling me the machine would do. So it actually took me 6 months to even come out and even see a demonstration. The funny thing is, I didn't want to go to a meeting. I just wanted to go to her house and show me a demo, show me what you're talking about. And the bottom line is, when the demo ended in about 30 minutes, I immediately bought my first machine. And I tell you, the reason I bought the machine is because prior to that meeting, I didn't realize how bad the bottled water, the tap water, I didn't realize how bad those waters were. I had no idea that they were actually acidic in nature. But, again, even as a police detective, as skeptical as we might be, seeing is definitely believing. So when I saw that, I no longer wanted my family to drink that water that we had been drinking, so I purchased a machine. And funny as it sounds, I'm pretty much relatively a healthy guy, and I never thought about this, but it dawned on me probably after about 10 months in drinking the water. See, I have asthma, and it wasn't something that I would occur often, but I would probably use an inhaler maybe once or twice a year, depending on the weather, or maybe after some exercise. So nothing very serious, but I wouldn't even travel without my inhaler, because the worst thing is to be caught up in the air, and all of a sudden you find yourself short of breath. But anyway, I realized about after 10 months of drinking the water, I realized that I haven't had an inhaler in over 8 months. And my son also has asthma, and he hasn't had any sort of an asthma condition since he started drinking the water. And it's amazing because it never even dawned on to me till I thought about it. And here it is now. I've been drinking the water for 14 months, and I travel all over the country. I don't even bring an inhaler with me ever, and have never had a symptom no matter how much I work out. So it's amazing, but there is a lot of information out there that a lot of illnesses like asthma are caused because your body is dehydrated, and a properly hydrated body will not get sick, and I am definitely a living testament. So for really all you skeptics out there that just don't believe, take it from me, a skeptical New York detective. This water works. It's helped me, it's helped my family, and it's helped thousands of people that are out there. So just go ahead and drink the water, and you'll see.
What's up, guys? I hope everybody's having an awesome day today. So I'm gonna be doing another experiment with my microscope today, and a lot of people message me about this issue, and that is what happens to your blood cells when you drink coffee, what happens when you drink regular bottled water, and what happens when you drink Kangen water. So I thought I would do this test myself. So I got my lensing device, I got my needles, I got my microscope, I got my slides. I mean, I'm ready, so let's get this started. And here we go. Got a little blood. Man, I really feel for people that have to do this every single day. You know, not look at their blood under the microscope, but you know, to poke themselves and check their sugar. You know, that's crazy. So let's see how is my blood cells right now. So I just woke up, right? I just woke up. I didn't drink water last night because I knew I was gonna do this video today. So I wanted to be, you know, the regular person that doesn't drink as much water before they go to sleep. So right now we're at 10 times zoom, and you can see that my blood cells are really not moving at all. They're not moving, which means that, you know, I'm really dehydrated, and this is how my blood is right now. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on to 20 times, and you can see how you can see my blood cells individually, but they're stuck together and not moving, guys. And this is what happens for most of you guys that do not drink water. And when you wake up, what are you doing when you're waking up? What are you putting inside your body when are you waking up? This is really important, guys. As you can see, mine is really still. Wow, guys. Let's go to 40 times zoom. Again, guys, it is crazy. You can see them, but they're not moving at all. They're kind of moving. I can see them kind of moving now, but they're not moving like they should be. So now let's go to 60 times. And there it is, guys. I mean, you can see them like barely moving, but you know, there should be like moving. They should be all over the place, and it's crazy. So I'm gonna be doing what most people do every single morning, and that is drink a cup of coffee. And I put almond creamer in here and no sugar. I didn't put no sugar in here. I used to be a really heavy coffee drinker back in the day. I used to drink at least 3 cups a day, in the morning, mid-afternoon, and right before I went to sleep. Yes, I drink coffee before going to sleep. I don't know how I did it. I seriously don't know how I did it. But today I'm gonna be drinking another cup of coffee. I drink coffee every now and then, not as often as I used to. And I actually, when I do drink coffee now, I make it with my Kangen water, but this is actually made with just regular plain water, just to see what happens to my blood, and I didn't want to affect the coffee with the Kangen water. And that's gonna be another test that I want to do. I want to see the difference between coffee made with Kangen water and regular plain water. So that'll be really interesting to see. But in this case, I just use regular plain water for this purpose. So I'll drink this coffee and I'll be right back. All right, guys, so it's been 10 minutes since I drank 12 ounces of cup of coffee with almond creamer. Okay, so I'm gonna be testing my blood again and see if we can see any differences. So, boom. Bah! Woo! All right, so right now we are looking at my blood 10 times zoom. They are moving a lot more than they were, which is good, which is a good thing, right? But you can see that they're still getting stuck to each other, and that's because the blood cells are not surrounded with a negative charge around them to bounce off each other. So let's go to 20 times zoom and see if we can see any closer. And yeah, as you can see how the cells are forming lines, they kind of look like coins stacking up with each other, and that's it's a formation called Rolux. I don't know how to pronounce it very well, but it's a formation in your blood that is associated with chronic liver disease and chronic inflammations throughout your body. This doesn't necessarily mean that you're about to die, but if you continue to drink this type of stuff and you continue to form your blood like this, then over time, then it can produce some damage in your body. So let's go to 40 times soon. And as you can see, the blood cells are still moving a little bit, but you can still see how they're still stacking up with each other, and you know, that's not a good sign. So let's go to 60 times. What you want to see is every blood cell individually and bouncing off each other and just moving all over the place. Obviously right now it is moving more than it was, but it's still stacking up with each other and it's not moving as fast. So now I'm gonna be drinking bottled water, and I'm gonna be seeing what happens within 10 minutes of drinking bottled water. So I got freaking Dasani here. I don't know how I feel about this. I haven't drank bottled water in a long time, so I guess we're gonna see how it tastes. So I'm gonna be drinking 12 ounces of Dasani water. That is 12 ounces right there, so cheers. Or I don't know about that. I don't know. It has this weird taste to it. I don't know. And I can feel the difference. I can definitely feel the difference. I can taste the difference. It has I don't know, it has kind of like a plastic, it's a weird taste. I don't know. And obviously I can feel it in my stomach. So I'm just gonna wait 10 minutes and see what happens to my blood cells. Alright guys, I'm back, and it's been 10 minutes since I drank 12 ounces of Dasani water. Yeah, I know, pretty boring. But let's go ahead and see what effects had in my blood. Oh, I didn't poke it. Boom! Let's do it again, baby. Woo! You can see the blood cells moving. This is a 10 times zoom, and to be honest, you can see the little blood cells has separated a little bit. This is a 20 times zoom, and yes, my blood cells has separated a little bit, but you cannot see them moving as they should be, right? So at least we don't see the coin stack formation anymore, and at least we see some separation, but I want to see more movement. So let's go at 40 times zoom. All right, that's 40 times zoom, and let's go to 60 times zoom. All right guys, so this is a 60 times zoom. As you can tell, the blood cells are individually, but you can see some of them are still stuck to each other and not moving much. So now this is the good part, and this is where I get really excited, and that is drinking 12 ounces of Kangen water. So I'm gonna go ahead to my machine, get 12 ounces and see what happens after 10 minutes. All right guys, so here's my Kangen machine, and let's get some 9.5. And I got my measuring cup just in case there's some skeptics out there saying, oh, you know, he drank more than 12 ounces, whatever. So let's go and see 12 ounces. Just under 12 ounces, and you can see the hydrogen in the water. So let's go ahead and pour it in this cup. There, you can see the hydrogen in the water. That is beautiful. That is beautiful, guys. That is what you want to be drinking every single day. And that's why they say, drink the cloud. Alright guys, so I have 12 ounces of Kangen water, 9.5 pH water. And I'm about to chug this, and we're going to be seeing the results after 10 minutes. Now, wow. You can really tell the difference between Kangen water and this stuff. I mean, you really can't compare. That's like comparing Bud Light to an Estella. You really can't compare that. But let's just wait 10 minutes and see what happens. Alright guys, so it's been 10 minutes since I drank 12 ounces of Kangen water. So let's go and poke myself again. Alright guys, so this is a 10 times zoom and I can clearly see more cells moving around. Not as much as I would like to, but just keep in mind that I did drink coffee and I did drink Dasani, and both of those beverages are really acidic, full of protons, so it doesn't help my blood at all. So let's go at 20 times zoom, and you can see that the cells are, moving more than the previous test. And my belief is this is because the hydrogen, which is negative charge, is surrounding those cells, and those cells are actively moving and bouncing off each other. So let's go in at 40 times zoom. You can clearly see the difference in your blood cells after drinking Kangen water. And this is why I wanted to do this video. Let's go at 60 times. This is the main reason why I made the investment into the microscope. Because I wanted to show you guys the power behind hydrogen water. So it's one thing me telling you what this water does, but it's another thing actually seeing what it does inside your body. So, I mean, I don't know what to tell you guys. I really don't have to say much. You can clearly see with your own eyes the effects on my blood after drinking coffee with almond creamer, after drinking 12 ounces of Dasani water, and then after drinking 12 ounces of Kangen or hydrogen-rich water. You want to keep your cells hydrated, you want to keep them energized, you want to keep them moving to prevent diseases, just to prevent a lot of problems in your health. So I hope you guys like this experiment that I did between these three beverages. Share it with all your friends and family, because this information is crucial, and I think everybody deserves to know this information. And all I wanted to do is make people think. I want to show you guys the results. Have a great day. Stay hydrated, my friends.
Drink Kangen makes me feel alive. Kangen has a pH level of 9.5. Kangen is the water I drink. Kangen makes me feel alive. Kangen has a pH level of 9.5.
Yeah. I don't want wrinkles. I want to keep my skin tight. I'm so acidic, so I better get my body.
If you need emergency medical care, treatment in the U.S. is the gold standard. But when it comes to prevention and managing chronic disease, that's another story. We've got big problems. We're overfed and undernourished. We've not only supersized our fast food, but our waistlines as well. The U.S. spends more on prescription drugs than any other country. But in Japan, instead of popping a pill to treat the symptoms, they search for the underlying cause. And it's working. People in Japan live longer than we do. People in Japan weigh less than we do. For years, people in Japan have been drinking a very special water. It's called Kangen water, and now Kangen water is available here in the U.S.
Prior to my life as a physician, I was working on a doctorate in nutrition. I have a bachelor's and a master's degree in nutrition and completed my PhD coursework prior to starting medical school. So my background really began in nutrition. When I entered medical school, I was trained like most allopathic physicians that our job is to diagnose disease and to treat it with medication and surgery when necessary. And so I followed that model for the first few years of practice. I began to turn back towards my nutritional training and trying to help them understand nutrition as well as exercise physiology and activity as a means of helping them improve their health and reverse some of the chronic diseases that I was seeing on a regular basis.
Many processes within our bodies produce free radicals. Free radicals are entities that have lost an electron. They are positively charged. They come from the breakdown of foods, from the breakdown of toxins, and they enter our bloodstream. These free radicals are potentially harmful to cells. They will attach themselves, for example, to the lining cell of an artery. And when they do, they will produce an injury. That injury will create a response in the body trying to heal it. Platelets will come from the blood and try to plug that injury. And in the process of making a clot, in the process of then bringing in scavenger cells to repair the damage, the blood vessel is damaged. That's one of the theories of atherogenesis.
I've been here for over 20 years as a dentist, and prior to that I was a dental hygienist. When I worked as a dental hygienist, I got very interested in nutrition, and the nutrition and how it relates to the teeth and how it relates to the person.
I've been asking every patient, most of the patient comes every 3 years or so. So I observe every year carefully, and I tell them your colon becoming very firm and tight and developing more pockets. So you have to change your diet, to my diet. Then they improve year by year. That's at least like 2 years, 3 years later, their colon becomes soft and pliable. Even you have a lot of pockets, diverticulosis, which can create thickening of intestinal, the muscular layers. So this diet can change your body situation.
I tell my patients that we are one big biochemical reaction. Everything that's happening in our body is a biochemical reaction. And for biochemical reactions to occur, we need a solvent. And the solvent in our bodies is water. So there's no question that the most important thing that we can do is hydrate our bodies.
Acid reflux, as you know, is a huge problem in our country. People who are obese tend to have it because their stomach and their gastroesophageal junction gets shoved up into the chest. Their lower esophageal sphincter isn't tight. And the esophagus is squamous epithelium. It's a different lining from the stomach, and it doesn't tolerate acid. So when the valve that connects the stomach to the esophagus, that interconnection doesn't function, the acid suddenly starts bathing this lining of the esophagus in acid, and it can't tolerate it. It's painful. People have that terrible sour taste in their back of their throat.
When we treat chronic disease with medication and we don't really attack the root cause, which is oxidative stress, free radical damage, we're not really treating or curing the disease, we're managing the disease.
Antioxidants have become very, very popular because they are electron donors. And when they meet a free radical, that free radical gets what it wants. It gets its electron, and it's neutralized. Now, the oxidation reduction potential of Kangen water is gigantic. It's about 30 times greater than the famous green tea. Everyone knows about green tea being a profoundly good antioxidant. Fruits, vegetables are considered antioxidants. Kangen water at a pH of 9.5 can have a negative, which is an electron donating reduction potential of up to 600 millivolts. It's measured in millivolts. You couldn't eat enough fruits and vegetables to get anywhere near that amount into your system.
We rely on oxidative stress to kill bacteria and viruses and fungi. But oxidative stress in excess, when we don't have the proper balance, when we have too much oxidation and not enough of its counterpart, which is reduction, then we get into this situation where we start to see degeneration occur in cells, in the tissues, and ultimately in the body. We get degeneration of the body, we get aging, and we get chronic disease. Oxidative stress is the mechanism by which all this happens.
I find that drinking Kangen water is satisfying because it quenches one's thirst. One is able to drink a lot more because you don't get that bloated feeling. It is as if the water is very much more quickly absorbed. And there are studies that have shown that from the Japanese literature that the water starts being absorbed in the distal esophagus before it even hits the stomach. It's absorbed in the stomach, and then by the time the duodenal sweep has been reached, it's practically already totally absorbed.
Oxidized water is a very, unhealthy to me. So I don't drink that kind of water, but I drink alkalized water. New York water, they say, is the best water, but it still contains the chlorine. Why did they put the chlorine in? Because of the chlorine put into the water, that it creates the free radicals, and that free radicals can kill the bacteria. So that the chlorine in water is, there is no bacteria resides. So it's a healthy water, they call. But for a health point of view, taking this chlorine containing water is actually oxidized water.
When I found out that the KANGEN water machine makes 7 types of water, I started exploring the high end, the 11.5 and the 2.5 end of that water. And on my exploration found out that the 2.5 water is bactericidal, and I am using it in my practice to help with bleeding. I use it to sanitize the mouth before I start working on the patients.
The Japanese have done a tremendous amount of work on using ionized water for wound care. There's a lot published in the Japanese literature and also now in American literature about using pH 2.5 water for bactericidal purposes. Staph aureus, for example, cannot survive in 2.5 pH water. The kill ratios are dramatic for this, and so it stands to reason that this would be beneficial for contaminated wounds or even infected wounds. The Japanese, for example, treat diabetic ulcers with ionized water with a low pH and find that to be extremely successful. They also have published a lot on it, and the before and after pictures are very dramatic. The pH 2.5 water has tremendous antibacterial properties against both gram-negative and gram-positive organisms.
With the standard American diet, it's actually very sad. I mean, that is what it stands for. Standard American diet is filled with sugars and the high energy drinks, and even the bottled waters, the potato chips and the pizza, and the things that these children are getting in the vending machines. All of that is acidic.
You think the skin is only young? No, artery is young too. Most of people who are eating a lot of beef, meat, and a lot of oxidized waters, they tend to develop more narrowing strictures. And many people, even in the 50s, they had the bypass procedure, the stent in, all kind of problems in the artery.
One of the things that you learn is called primum non nocere. Above all, do no harm. That is the duty of a physician. It dates back to Hippocrates. None of us want to do harm. What we should do, and I think when we're convinced of something that is really truly good for people, we should go and recommend it to people.
Anytime our body sees protein that it doesn't recognize, we have the susceptibility to cause an inflammatory reaction or an allergic reaction. I really do think there's a connection there with incompletely digested proteins through the typical American diet that we consume.
Periodontal disease affects 75% of the population. And periodontal disease is a silent disease of the mouth. In other words, you don't really know you have it until it's too late. What I have found is that we do comprehensive cleanings on people to try to get their mouth healthy again. But we use as an adjunct the acidic water that we make here at the office with our KANGEN machine, and we use it under the sulcus of all the teeth, in other words, around the teeth and the gums, to clean bacteria during our procedures. And we also send the patient home with the water, because I'm sure you've heard the eyes are the mirror to the soul, or the mouth is the mirror to the rest of the body.
Look at Japan. The country of Japan has the highest consumption of ionized water in the world. Now, I'm not saying it is necessarily a direct effect, but they are also #1 in overall health care in the world and #1 in longevity in the world. When we compare that to the United States, we're number 38 in longevity and in overall health. The Cubans have better health than we do.
We need to respect the fact that we have all these built-in mechanisms to help us fight disease, to maintain our health. But we need to support ourselves in that healing process by eating natural foods, by drinking the right type of water, by managing stress, by getting plenty of exercise and plenty of oxygen to our lungs.
This is a very important. You just change your diet very little bit. Enjoy the health, enjoy your longevity too. I think number one most important thing is water. To drink water, alkalized and ionized water, which is KANGEN water.
I'm very excited that KANGEN water is here to help both children and adults alike in my practice, and my patients are loving it.
I've had the great fortune in my life to have graduated from one of the finest medical schools in the world, Harvard. I was trained in the Harvard residency program. I've spent my entire professional career affiliated with that institution. One of the best things, next to being affiliated with this great institution, has been my discovery of KANGEN water.
For those of you who are trying to optimize your health and trying to do everything you can to have good health, to maintain your health, preserve your health, my plea is just try the water.
In Japan, they have a saying, Mizuo Kayareba, Jinsei Kawaru. Translated, change your water, change your life. Do yourself and your family a favor. Ask for a free sample of KANGEN water. Try it and see for yourself.
The water that we're drinking now is so incredibly toxic. So much I had no idea, especially bottled water. So that's one thing. I just don't want anyone drinking that. On the other hand, we have an incredible alternative that's exactly the opposite. This KANGEN water is both alkaline and ionized, which makes it an incredible antioxidant that's highly absorbed by our cells. So imagine bathing every cell in your body with just incredible anti-inflammatory, antioxidant properties.
Hi, my name is Dr. Dave Lessman, and in the next few minutes, I'm going to tell you about something that's going to change the healthcare industry as we know it. For 30 years now, I've been a doctor in Southern California. I own a company called Motion Picture Chiropractic. I've seen every type of imaginable healing device and medicine over the last 30 years. But over the last 7 years, it affected me personally. My parents, their health declined drastically. About 7 years ago, my dad suffered a couple of heart attacks, had angina, gout, stenosis of the spine, was overweight, high cholesterol, everything you could imagine. My mother, from worrying about my father, had developed very bad acid reflux and over the years, very bad arthritis in her knees. My parents basically had tried everything. We went to the medical route. Every pill they were given, every therapy they were giving, nothing changed. They continued to degenerate until the point my mother called me up and said, David, if your dad goes, I want to go with him. They've been together since high school. So at that point, I realized I better do something. And a friend of mine of 30 years, Bob Gridelli, introduced me to this product that's a medical device in Japan. I had no idea what it did, but I tried this, hooked it up, and made my parents use this product. What it does is this product takes tapped water and runs it through ionization, a strong electrical charge, and produces hydroxyl ions by removing a hydrogen atom. Same technology they're going to use with the electric car to make hydrogen, but now we're making oxygen-infused water, hydroxyl ion. This hydroxyl ion scoops up and rids the body of the free radicals, and over time changes the body structure, almost to the point of where you heal as if you were a child. So the things my parents had over probably a 6-month period, my mother's arthritis, her high blood pressure, her acid reflux, my dad's angina, problem with heart attacks, gout, slowly dissipated. I tried the water myself and couldn't believe it. The three things I inherited from my parents, my gout, my high blood pressure, and my high cholesterol, within 3 months, the doctor said he had never seen a blood test this good on a 30-year-old. So it blew me away. Started sharing it with patients. Now thousands of my patients are using this water. This is a preventative measure. We've been taught always there's a pill for every ill. Now we can prevent the disease. This is prevention, the way the Japanese, who have the longest lifespan, believe. We believe get sick and then deal with the disease. It's a lot more expensive, and that's why we live 38th longest lifespan in the world. Japanese have the #1 longest lifespan. And it's been amazing. All I could say is if you know anybody that's ill, anybody that's low on energy, there's nothing to lose. Everybody needs water. Water is a universal solvent. Every chemical reaction in your body takes place with water, and not only changing the water, but changing the structure of the water to a microcluster gets into every part of your body within minutes. So this water will get to places and change the way the body heals itself. And in closing, all I could say is try it. It's the most amazing thing for me and my family and my patients. And you need water anyway. Let's eliminate the bottles. Let's go green. And let's be well. Thank you.
Welcome back. In a health alert tonight, have you ever heard of alkaline water? It's a product that's been around for decades, but it's becoming more popular right here in our region. Mackenzie Maynard is here to tell us more.
I've been borderline diabetic for about the last 4 or 5 years.
I get 15 headaches a month, easy, no problem. I have to take medication.
Fred and Peta were in a constant tail chase trying to get their health under control until, according to them, they started drinking alkaline water.
Ever since I've been on it, honestly, I haven't taken one pill since for my heartburn or my headaches.
They told me that my blood work looks better than it has in years.
It's been around for 42 years, but statistics show 1 in 18,000 people have ever heard about it. So if it's just water, what's the big deal?
Take a look at this pH scale here, ranging from 0 to 14. Now, anything greater than 7 is going to have a lower concentration of hydrogen ions. Coffee and orange juice, for instance, rank less than 7. Alkaline water can rank anywhere from 8 to 11 on the pH scale.
And that's just what makes it stand apart from the rest, its high pH scale. At Beaver Bark in Richland, they provide alkaline water filter systems.
There's 2 titanium rods inside, and it's dipped in hospital-grade platinum. As the water filter, and it's not really filtering through it, but as it moves through it, it ionizes the water. As it ionizes the water becomes more alkalized.
After trying it out, Peggy says it's easy for buyers to get one for their homes.
You can get back to the tap water, the spray, and also to the ionized water.
You can try your alkaline water at Beaver Bark in Richland and Urban Dull Salon and Spa in Pasco. All that information will be available on our website, NBCRightNow.com. For now, live in the studio, Mackenzie Maynard, NBC Right Now, your local hometown station.
We all know this, we need to drink plenty of water.
But there's a certain kind of water some people swear is better for you. Is it really healing water? 7's Diana Diaz explains.
When South Beach restaurant manager Pablo Lucero got strict orders from his doctor to start drinking more water for his health, he couldn't do it.
He suggested to drink at least a gallon of water, so for me it was impossible.
So when the 41-year-old started hearing the buzz about what's called KANGEN water, he decided to give it a guzzle.
The first thing that I noticed is that the water is really, really light. By the time I finished the first gallon, I couldn't believe my eyes.
KANGEN water has been used in Japanese hospitals for years, and now the water systems are popping up at restaurants and homes all over South Florida.
KANGEN water is water that is not only filtered. Filtering just takes out contaminants. It's water that goes through an additional process called ionization.
The water system is simply hooked up to your faucet.
Inside the machine, there are plates made out of medical-grade titanium, and the machine is plugged into the electricity, so there is a mild electrical charge running through those plates.
The machine takes tap water, filters out the harmful contaminants, and then splits it into alkaline and acid waters. The theory is our body's pH needs to be balanced.
KANGEN water 8.5.
Little by little, the body's becoming too acidic. So this water helps to offset the acidity, to give your body the right kind of water that it needs, that's alkaline, has minerals in it, and in addition, the water is very antioxidant, which means it fights free radical damage.
Research trials are just beginning here in the U.S. on whether ionized water is any better than regular water, but Pablo says he saw the health benefits immediately.
In less than 48 hours, the migraines went away.
Most importantly, his high cholesterol dropped within 3 weeks, which stunned even his doctor.
My cholesterol dropped down from 228 to 221.
The system doesn't come cheap. It ranges in price from $1,280 to $4,000. Now, doctors say they don't care how you get your water. They just want you to drink it. In the Plex, I'm Diana Diaz, 7 News.
This KANGEN water was introduced to me by my wife, who was suffering some back problems of her own. And what prompted me to try this water was the fact that over the past year or so, I've been having difficulty with my hands stiffening up. It was a form of spasm or carpal tunnel syndrome. With the KANGEN water, after 2 weeks drinking this particular water, I started experiencing a tremendous amount of relief in both of my hands with loss of stiffness, especially in the morning. It certainly did help alleviate the discomfort and stiffness that I was experiencing in both of my hands, which I really, really needed in order to do the procedures that I do on a work basis, daily work basis. So the KANGEN water has certainly done a remarkable thing as far as I'm concerned to my own personally, and I'm truly a believer in this water.
I was introduced to the KANGEN water. I suffer from problems with my knee. The joint area gets extremely painful. And I also have compressed discs in my lower back that have caused severe pain. I drank the water for a couple weeks and noticed that my knee was not in pain anymore. There was no popping. And also it has somewhat relieved the pain in my lower back. I can stand longer, sit longer, and it's done wonders to be able to drink something as simple as water and feel this relief has been great.
I was diagnosed with microcalcifications in my left breast in one of my routine mammogram in 2003, and was told to repeat the mammogram through digital magnification to confirm the diagnosis. And yes, indeed, it was microcalcifications. I have like 2 or 3 on my left breast, and I have to repeat mammogram every 6 months. 2 diagnostic mammogram and 1 routine mammogram. That makes it 3 in a year. And I was introduced in 2006 of November on KANGEN water, and I tried that for 2 months and a half, and I canceled my mammogram that was supposed to be scheduled 2 weeks after I had the KANGEN water. I rescheduled it again. I canceled it and rescheduled it for the following month, to give KANGEN water time to work on my body. And this was in November of 2006. And January of 2007, I had finally went through with my mammogram, and the result came back normal. So after 3 years of abnormal mammogram with microcalcification in my left breast, it came back normal on January of 2007. I was thinking that maybe KANGEN would help me, and so I did try, and I was convinced that KANGEN water really helped me with my microcalcifications, and I don't know how to explain that, but it just happened. It did. That's the changes that I experienced with KANGEN, and I think you should try it.
I'm so excited to be introduced to this KANGEN water. I believe this is one of the greatest gifts that was given to me. It's truly a gift from God. And this KANGEN water was introduced to me by a friend who was diagnosed with cancer. And I was so excited to see the changes in her life. I've been suffering for 9 years of stress eczema on my thumb, which usually occurred during my menstrual period every month. But since I was introduced on this KANGEN and I was taking for 3 weeks, I was so amazed that I did not have my regular stress eczema. Usually I develop abscess on my thumb. It is very, very painful. Usually it's hard for me to do my normal chores. But on that week that I had my menstrual period and I took three weeks of KANGEN water, I did not experience that painful experience on my thumb. And also with my mother, who's been suffering from diabetes, hypertension, and enlargement of the heart. Like January, she even wrote me a letter that she said that she's dying. So she's telling me that she's going to die, and she's asking forgiveness for what she missed in her life. But when I sent the machine to her, she started drinking water, and now her life is back. She's back to serving people again. She always goes to church, and when she called me, she's crying because this is the greatest gift that I have given to her. I said to her, it's a gift from God that you have to share also. I'm so excited that we are sharing it to other people, because we can keep to ourselves the gift from God, so we have to share it to you. I have a 2-year-old daughter. She is still in for regular baby formula, because every time I try to switch her to a regular milk, whole vitamin D milk, she always gets constipation. And when you see her crying, turning red because of pain, going to the bathroom, as a mother, it's so painful to see your daughter to do this. So we just skip her on regular baby formula. When I introduce her to this KANGEN water, it changes everything. Now she can ask you, KANGEN water, mommy, and she doesn't have any more constipation. Every day, regularly, she goes to the bathroom without any pain episode. And also to my grandmother, last January, she was given only 2 weeks to live because her heart was so weak already. She has to be on oxygen for 3 months. She has been oxygen dependent. But last week, when I called in the Philippines, that my grandmother is doing so well now, she doesn't need any more the oxygen. So I just grateful for this KANGEN water to you. And it's truly a worth investment for my health, for my family's health. and for my friend's health.
As a young mother of two, in 2006, May of 2006, I was heartbroken, and my family also, hearing the news that I had breast cancer. In 2006, I had surgery. I went through chemotherapy. Chemotherapy makes you really sick. And sometimes you feel like you're really, no hope. I think after 2 weeks of chemotherapy, in October, I was introduced by Dr. Nidia with this water, my family and I. They were talking about this water, that it would help, and that it has helped a lot of people who was undergoing problems, like different problems, that it might help me. When I start taking this KANGEN water, it helps me tremendously. The tiredness, the fatigue, the aches in my muscles was diminished. I can smell, after chemotherapy, I can smell my output, my urine output, that it's really, really strong. And you can really, it's hard for you to smell it because it smells like hospital. The medicine is that strong. But when I start drinking KANGEN water, the smell, you can really tell that the color of your urine changes, and the smell, you cannot really smell it anymore, the smell of the medicine. I started to be feeling much, much better every day just drinking through this KANGEN water.
I see hope when I start seeing my wife feeling better and happier. This is truly a great investment for my family, since health is so important.
Give her a kiss. Sa cheek lang. Yeah. Oh, did you hear me?
My name is Father Dacian Bluma. I am now 85, will be 85 years old this year. And I look at my life as being a real blessing. Now, at this stage in my life, I realize how God has been good to me, and what a wonderful gift it has been. All the people I've met, all the things I've done, the places I've gone to. After my ordination, I went to Rome for my graduate studies and learned a great deal about the church, and it really brought me a great love and trust in the church. And then after that, I came back, and I was doing all kinds of work teaching in the seminary, and then I was administrator or provincial for our province for 6 years. And then after that, I was formation director of our young people. And after that, I went to Africa for 6 years and did some missionary work there. And came back and continued to work. So I really led a full life, and I feel very happy with it, grateful to God. Well, as it turns out, in the last 3 years, my health has been weakened somewhat. And about a year and a half ago, in October of 2005, I was diagnosed with cancer, colon cancer. And I had surgery. And all the cancer was removed, the surgeon said. But of course, there was some in the lymph nodes. And so he said, unless you take some aggressive therapy, you're likely to have it return. I refused the therapy, knowing my age and knowing that I didn't want to become sick before I was sick. I wanted to have the chance really to continue what I was doing. And so at the present time, I'm a chaplain here of the Sisters of St. Francis of Assisi of Perpetual Adoration. So I had the cancer removed, but now, just March 26th, I received the results of a CAT scan. Tells me that cancer has returned, at this time both in the stomach area and in the liver. And so that is what I'm dealing with now. I see a very marked difference in my ability to move around. I get tired very quickly. As much as I loved to celebrate Mass, I can no longer do that. I can't celebrate, but at any rate, I met Kathy, and I met some wonderful people and her husband, and some wonderful people, and they introduced me to this wonderful water that I've been, KANGEN water. I'm saying it is a purified water that has been specially prepared, and it is shown, in fact, that over the years it has had a tremendous effect on people. I want to be one of those, to stand up or sit down and tell you that I really wanted to speak in favor of that water, and to say let's do everything we can not to add more chemicals to our healing process, but reducing ourselves to the simplicity of healthy, fundamental, and basic things in our life, like water. I'd like to encourage those who are looking for opportunities for not only healing but for hope. Please consider the possibility of this KANGEN water. Some of the medication that helps me with regard to pain has side effects that cause constipation. And this had been a really worrisome thing for me. And I was wondering how I can get out of that vicious circle. I want some help, but in the meantime, I'm adding more problems. And so this water was a great help to me because it relieved and helped relieve me from that constipation and that sense of being bound up. And I felt that the water not only washed me clean, but as it does on the outside, but rather on the inside and in my own intestines and my own constipation. So I'm grateful for that, and I want to speak in favor of that as well.
Hello, my name's Joseph Yeager, and this is my wife, Lizelle. I'm a United States postal worker. I was diagnosed 7 years ago with heart disease and peripheral arterial disease. And 2 months ago, we bought the KANGEN water machine. I had trouble with my legs. The fluids would retain in my legs, and I had to wear braces.
Most of the time.
After 1 month of the KANGEN water, I no longer wear the braces, and my legs no longer fill with fluid. My wife, who suffers from migraine headaches.
If I have a monthly period. So when I start drinking for that, I did not feel migraine headache already. So thanks the Lord for that.
So now our whole family drinks KANGEN water, including our friends. They come over for water.
Yeah.